why she started the nonprofit program. And I mean, I've been watching her for a long time, guys. And the program, she's been helping a lot of young teenage girls through the hurts and pains of things they've been going through in their lives, and she's trying to help them correct that and to become better women. You know what I'm saying? We all need some type of mentor. I don't care what phase in life we're at, young, adolescent, adult. We all need a mentor, somebody to guide us on our path and keep us on a straight path here and there, now and then, every now and then. So here's the lovely Nqshauna. Introduce yourself. Well, I already introduced you, so just tell them what you got going on, girl.
Hi, everybody. My name is Nqshauna Johnson Lenore, and I'm the founding director of the program that is based out of Rochester, Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
We are a fiscally sponsored organization. We're fiscally sponsored by Diversity Council of Rochester.
Okay.
And we just celebrated our 10 years of service celebration. Yes, it's been a journey for sure, but it's been amazing being able to work and serve the youth here in the Rochester area. The Journey program serves youth ages 13 through 18.
Mm-hmm.
We do is we teach a life skills program called 8 Steps to Promotion.
Mm-hmm.
8 Steps to Promotion is a life skills workshop that I designed. And I designed it based off of my experiences growing up in foster care. So all of the different milestones that I had to face, the barriers, the hardships, I took and compiled it into a workshop.
Okay.
And I'll quickly just go over what that workshop is. So 8 Steps to Promotion is a life skills program with 8 different workshops. We meet twice a week for 8 weeks for approximately like 2 hours twice a week for 8 weeks. And the first workshop is getting to know me. And I think that workshop is really important because it teaches young girls the importance of self-love, self-acknowledgement, loving yourself and creating a foundation, like a base to who you want to be when you get older. And then we've got relations and relationships where we teach young people the importance of identifying healthy and unhealthy relationships, as well as practicing safe sex.
Mm-hmm.
So that's basically relations. We also teach a workshop called coping skills, where we teach young people how to cope in different environments with different people, money management, the importance of education, law and legal rights, how to interact with the police, what is your rights as a U.S. citizen.
Mm.
We also teach, why it's important to love yourself and be who you are, most importantly. And one of the biggest things about the Journey program that I really love is being your authentic self and bringing your authentic self to the table. So we teach a lot of that. Plus, we connect our youth with mentors, and a lot of what we do at Journey is disrupting a system. So we're preventing pregnancies. We're preventing pregnancies. We're going in debt about STDs, HIV, what all that looks like. We're teaching the value of $1. We're talking about credit. We're talking about building financial stability and generational stability, generational wealth, entrepreneurship. We're talking about why it's important to have an education. We're not just sending our babies to school. We're explaining to them why you need to be there.
Right.
And how that impacts you. And each one of our workshops is we speak based off 3 different aspects: home, school, and through leisure, work and leisure. Leisure meaning like if you're on a sports team.
Okay.
So why is it important to respect yourself and respect others at home? Your mom, dad, your siblings. What does that look like? As well as what does respect look like at school with your teacher or your peers? What does that look like? Not just what you should be displaying, but also what you should expect from others. And we teach young people as to identify healthy relationships versus an unhealthy relationship, because you could get a boyfriend and you don't know how. For example, this Blueface and Nqshauna situation.
Oh, yeah.
How do you identify whether or not this is a healthy relationship for you? You know, and when you're so young, you don't know what love really is. So if
Right.
we're taught at home and you saw your mama be a certain type of way, you know, this is not for everybody, but I'm just using it for example. If your mom was being treated a certain type of way, you automatically assume that's what love is.
Right.
And then that's what you're going to accept because that's all you know. Nobody ever taught you anything different. So we're teaching young women how to identify with the unhealthy relationship when it comes to your boyfriend, or a guy when it comes to a woman. Same thing, vice versa. So identifying with healthy and unhealthy relationships. And the reason why I put identifying with healthy and unhealthy relationships is because growing up in foster care, I was molested as a child. I was not being treated properly by my foster parents. I had a manager when I was a teenager in high school working at Wendy's who threatened to reduce my hours at work if I didn't do certain things, you know. And
Wow.
so being able to teach young people how to identify with, okay, that's not okay. And what is the next thing? What's the next step? You know, when you identify that somebody has done something to you inappropriate, or you have a relationship with somebody like your teacher that is an inappropriate relationship and there's inappropriate behavior happening, what is the next steps and who do you have that's going to advocate for you through the process? And so with the Journie program, our youth and their guardians and their parents, or sometimes it's social workers or it's probation officers, depending on their individual situations, they sign like releases of information. So our organization is able to speak on behalf of the student. And so we act as an advocate for the student as well as the family. And over the years, we've become one of the primary resource hubs for the Black community here in Rochester, as well as young African-American students.
That is
So how would a child get in your program? Are they referred, or their parents can just come to you and ask for them to be a part, or?
So in the past, when we first started the program, I was running program at different places like the Boys and Girls Club and after school programs through the middle schools and high schools. It was just all voluntary work. And then we build our program to the point where we can start taking applications and just start inviting youth. And so youth start coming to our program via word of mouth. Like we didn't even have to, like we haven't even put out applications or say that we're getting ready to start a new workshop. We just had kids that were just coming out of nowhere. You know, one workshop will end and we already had a group of kids that would be hanging around, or either an older sister who had a little that was in workshop that's like, oh, I want in on the next shop. When's the next workshop? And then we'd be like making a list, and then we have a waiting list where we're calling people. We didn't even get a chance to like make a new application, do a new application process, because we already had students. And in 2020, the YMCA shut down during the pandemic and we lost our home. So we had so long for us to find a home. And so we had the YMCA busing. All the kids was there every single day. But it was a safe space for them to be able to express themselves. A lot of the students would come to workshop and then they leave workshop and then they participate in other activities that was at the YMCA, like basketball, majority for boys. There was workout rooms for the kids to work out. There was dance studios in there for them to dance, and they have several different classes. They gave out like free food, and the kids hang out with one another and their peers and stuff. So it was a great space. We were very productive and growing. And so ever since we've lost our place, we've kind of been online. And I have been taking in some students case by case through a referral basis through Olmsted County. So I've been working and doing some individual mentorship with particular kids through referral. So in January, we're going to be starting back our workshop, and it's going to be by referral only, referral based only. So their students have to be referred by their parent or guardian, by school leadership, whether it be like a social worker, a counselor, therapist, something like that. or a county worker, social worker, probation officer. So we only accept students by referral.
Okay.
So how many advocates are there? Just you, or how many other staff members do you have?
So I am proud to announce that I'm no longer running the Journey program by myself, which I've done for so many years, of course, with the help of some volunteers. But now I currently have a staff of 5, including myself. There's 6 of us. IT manager. I have a assistant program coordinator. I have a membership coordinator. I have an assistant, and I have a social media coordinator.
Awesome. And how old are you taking in? What's the age limit?
13 through 18.
13. And what if somebody identifies as a girl? Will you accept, them into your program? Like somebody that's transgender.
Yeah, we offer services for boys and girls.
Oh, awesome.
We are a strong advocate for the LGBTQ plus community as well.
Awesome.
So we refer to youth by their preferred name.
Okay.
At least 50%. And I'd say the past couple of workshops, at least 50% of our students in our workshop were part of the LGBTQ plus community.
Okay.
And what's the difference in working with the two? Like, how does the kids respect each other as far as like, accept whatever anyone's preference is? How does that work?
So Journey is a really safe space for students. Some students have come out in our workshop.
Okay.
And I set the tone. You have to set the tone for what you got going on when you're working with these kids.
Yeah.
And I set the tone from day one, and that's where we get to know each other. So the first workshop is called Getting to Know Me. So in that workshop, we all get to know each other. That's why it all comes out. And I emphasize, I put big emphasis on being your true authentic self. And we do this by playing this game called 50 Facts.
Okay.
And Facts, I put 2 minutes on the clock because I asked them, a variety of questions where I asked you. So I'll do it briefly with you guys right now, but we're actually going to be doing a real live workshop on our platform for 1 week straight. It's our gift to the community to do a public workshop for everyone on live for Christmas, the week before Christmas. And it's kind of therapeutic. So, I'll ask you guys a question. So, Sade, I'll ask you first.
Okay.
So, tell me something about Kim Kardashian. Anything.
That she's a mother of 4.
Oh, tell me one more thing.
That she was married to Kanye West. She's an advocate.
Okay. Nina, tell me something about Kanye West.
He's from Chicago. He ran for president.
Right. Yes.
He's running for president.
Yeah.
Okay. So did it take y'all very long to think about that?
No.
Okay. So if I asked you right now, what did you want to be when you were younger? What would you say, Sade?
I wanted to be a computer scientist.
What about you, Nina?
I wanted to be a juvenile probation officer.
Okay, so when you guys were that age, did you know immediately that that's what you wanted to do for the rest of your life?
No.
It took some time, right?
Yeah, I did.
What I teach the kids in the workshop, I asked them, I said, so tell me something. I'll ask them a series of questions about public figures, usually people that's in the entertainment industry or the most popular people in town or friends that they know. And they tell me somebody else's business, right off the top of their head. Like, it didn't take y'all long to tell me anything about Kanye or Kim. Like, y'all knew it, boom, boom. And I'm gonna need y'all to know how to explain and introduce yourselves just as quickly. I teach them the one question that people are gonna ask you in your life all the time is, tell me something about yourself. So they walk away from that first workshop, the Getting to Know Me workshop, with the ability to be able to pitch their own elevator speech about themselves and answer 5 questions. So I tell them, tell me 5 things about yourself, and you got 5 seconds. And If they lose, I'll come back around. Nope. And then it becomes a competition. So we do 50 facts. I put 2 minutes on the stop clock, and they have literally 2 minutes to write down 50 things about themselves.
Wow.
From how many siblings, what make them mad, what make them sad, what make them happy, all of that. And they've got literally 2 minutes, and it's always one person write down at least 50 facts about themselves within those 2 minutes, and they usually win like a $50 gift card.
Oh, nice.
Journie got the coolest gifts and incentives at our workshop, so that way we're not giving away something. So they are to take those 50 facts. So within that time frame, it allows them to think about themselves. Like, what do I like? What is my favorite food? And so they're learning themselves. And a lot of people can't even get past 10 facts about themselves. And so it challenges them. And so I have them write a letter to their imaginary mentor, whether it's the basketball player, engineer, that lawyer, that hairstylist, that entrepreneur. And I have 8 weeks to go out and find that entrepreneur, find that dentist, find that real estate agent. So when I tell them, write a letter to your imaginary mentor, and use those 50 facts that you just came up with to introduce yourselves. So they take those 50 facts, they write that letter, they seal it up, lick it, close it. I can't get to it. I can't see it. And they write to my imaginary mentor from Paul, Peter, Susie. Okay. And I have to take those letters and deliver them. So if I was to come to Sade, for example, and say, Sade, I have a 14-year-old girl who wants to be a hairstylist when she gets older. And I'm wondering if you would like to be a lifelong mentor to a young girl through our organization. You don't have to make an immediate dedication right now, but if you can be in her life and be consistent and check in with her at least once or twice every 2 weeks or once or twice a month, and just be that backbone person she can call to in case she wants to run away or things like that, be of assistance to her guardian, would you be willing to do that? And if you say yes, then I give you that letter, and everything about this kid before you even meet them. So everybody knows it's hard to get to understand a teenager, right? Because there's, you ask me like, what?
Right, they have all kinds of emotions. Just
right. So it's hard to break the ice while trying to get through to a teen, especially one that's been through a lot of trauma. They don't trust nobody. So if you already know all this stuff about them, you know what they don't like, so you already know what not to say. You know which family member they can't stand. You know want to be when they get older. They favorite kind of weather. So if they don't like the snow, then not to invite them somewhere where y'all gonna be hanging out in the cold.
Right.
So it just alleviates and allows the mentor to get to know them. And then we've had maybe once or twice where mentors were able to come to the graduation and meet some of the mentees that we were able to connect them with. So that was a beautiful thing. The vision for the Journey program is to have every youth in our program, in our workshop, from that first workshop, them letters, we want to fulfill every single letter and find every single mentor and have every single mentor present at that graduation, at that 8-week presentation where they explain who am I is the last workshop, where they present everything they've learned through the workshop, who they want to be with confidence, and then graduate. And I chose a graduation because I never graduated college. I never graduated high school. I got my GED, didn't get to walk across stage 8th grade because I got into a fight, got sent to alternative school. So I've never walked across the stage until I got my GED. And then I graduated with my GED valedictorian, with my daughter walked across the stage with me. And that meant a lot to me. But I said, all young kids should be able to have that feeling, even in middle school, because it makes you hungry to want that feeling again. So to be able to be a part of that graduating class, all of that stuff is important.
It really is.
How many staff members do you have? Besides, you said the 5, but I'm saying, do they pick like how you're describing what you do? What's each person's job description? I heard you say what each person does, but I'm saying with the kids, because it seems like your assignment is pretty full.
Okay.
So the way that our workshops go, so for example, the Getting to Know Me workshop is usually just myself, staff, and the students.
Okay.
My biggest workshop was at the Boys and Girls Club, and that had to be about 30 students. And that was because we had a dance program going on that we were getting ready for a back to school rally. Okay. And so a lot of those kids weren't per se in the program, but they were in the program because we had an event coming up, and they just so happened to just stay. Like they would just come in but we usually range between 10 and 15 students per workshop. No more.
Okay.
And each one of our workshops, besides the first one and the last one, is always a guest speaker. So, for example, our relations and relationships workshop, where we talk about sex education and identifying healthy and unhealthy relationships and what to do. It's usually me as a speaker, and then it's our guest sponsor. So, for example, Planned Parenthood partners with us for the Relations and Relationships workshop. So I experience growing up as a teen parent, and just any of my personal experiences that I have to the topic. But then I also have someone who is educated, who's working in a particular field that can give community resources and allow the youth to be able to build their network. So they give out materials on where to go get STD testing, just all type of pamphlets and resources. So I speak for maybe about half an hour. Then we have a guest speaker there to answer any fact questions that the students might have. Same with money management. I speak from a personal perspective, but we also always have somebody that's in finance that will come in and answer those questions as far as opening up a bank account, checking account, debt, credit, all of that different type of stuff. And we do Monopoly for our money. We do Monopoly, and we make fake checks. We've worked Bank and Affinity Plus Bank for that workshop in the past. And then the education, we work with Winona State University and RCTC for that one. So they have representatives that will come out to that workshop and talk about why education is important. And whenever we've done that at middle school, y'all gotta excuse my neighbor, got a dog, and
I know that's
okay.
I got a closet up in here to start doing lives and stuff because anyways, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I be wanting to tell sometimes, but anyway. Yeah, we partner with other businesses and organizations throughout the community who come in. So I don't do all the work. I can't take all the credit because we do partner with other organizations within the community, like our Law and Legal Rights Workshop. Rochester Police Department is a huge sponsor for our organization. They send an officer out to be able to answer certain questions about curfew, about your rights as a citizen, how to communicate with the police if you ever encounter the authorities. And they do demonstrations with us. You know, they talk, they answer questions, they give out resources, and it's a way for them to build a relationship with our local police department as well, just in case the police were to ever see or have an encounter with any of the youth in our program while on duty out in the streets. And it's really good for the youth in our program to have that business card. Like I really stress how important it is to have that business card, like to be able to say, you know, somebody by name. So any kids in our program was to ever get pulled over by a police officer or had a police encounter and they think that, okay, that wasn't fair. I remember Officer so-and-so from workshop, I'm going to call them and tell them what was going on, you know, and they're able, every student that's in our workshop is able to build a network. The network I have, they have.
Oh,
okay.
Oh, you really have your program structured. I like the way it's structured.
Yeah. How did you get funding, and what made you pick nonprofit versus profit?
Mm-hmm.
So I've received funding one time in the 10 years that I have been running my organization in Rochester.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
The first funding was when George Floyd was murdered in 2020.
Yeah.
So you was already in business about 8 years?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. So
That's horrible.
I mean, do you know
your program seems so flourished and
right,
so beautiful. I'm so like
impressed, especially with her age.
Yeah, I'm shocked that nobody came in and gave you any kind of funding, like
I mean, it's a process to getting grants and fundings, and it's not easy, especially in Rochester. Like, you have to overly prove yourself, especially, being new here. But even after being here for multiple years, the beginning phase of my workshop, as I was building and putting things together, the structure has always been there. The biggest part was trying to get sponsors and things like that to be a part of the workshop, to volunteer their time. And then once we locked them in, we've had the same sponsors for several years. We called them up and they're like, just let us know when workshops start. We there, give us the date. Because we tuned in with them like that over the years, so we don't pay for that.
Wait a minute, is it just city-wise, regional, where you can get the funding, or can you go to like the city, St. Paul, Minneapolis, to get funding for nonprofits? You know what I mean? Is it just restricted to our?
Here's how we started. So, like you said, we were going for 8 years before we got our first grant. And so how I made money, because I'm from Chicago. So, I see people hustling all over the place. It's all different types of ways to make money, right?
Right.
So I'm into music. So prior to coming to Rochester, I had my own television show on Channel 19 that came on Saturdays. So I've always been into the music industry. So I did interviews. I had my own television show called JT Underground Music Television. So I interview artists, local up-and-coming artists, and they would pay me to air their new released music video on air, and they pay a little extra for me to interview them on air as well. So that's kind of how I made money back in Chicago. And so I started throwing parties when I was here for the kids, because I realized that there was nothing for kids of color to do in Rochester besides go bowling. And I'm like, there's no skating rink, there's no Route 66, ain't nobody juking nowhere, there's nothing kids to do besides go to the movies. And at the time I start seeing a lot of our Black kids going to Apache Mall just to meet up with their friends, and then the security guards are like shooing them get out, and it became an issue, and then kids start fighting, meeting up there, and I'm like, they need something to do. So I started throwing parties. So annually now we have Boo Bash, and we have local fathers within the area that will volunteer their time. Even my own dad, you could catch my dad at almost any one of my functions. Him and his friends, or my uncles and their friends, they're all got their security t-shirts on, and they're helping out and they're volunteering. So we throw parties for the kids. We threw one of the biggest ones we threw was Summer Jam. We threw that at the Mayo Civic Center when they first opened, and Sansa, she performed. D'Angelo got his first comedy gig on stage, and he's been flourishing ever since. Kia Scott, we ended up giving her first hostess position. She's been flourishing. And 507 photography. So I would bring on up and coming videographers, cameramen, different things like that, to work with our organization to give their work some exposure, as well as the artists that was performing. I'd offer them like free headshots, free video work of their performance to help them for get their next gig. Because I come from the entertainment industry, and I know a lot of people in entertainment, so I know how to help them to elevate their career and what they need as far as their photos and their portfolios and things like that. So instead of paying them, I would hire a camera guy who needed the experience and help. One hand wash the other, and we wouldn't charge the kids a lot, probably $5 or $10 to get in, and they enjoyed themselves because it created a safe space for them to gather with friends. And how we raise money. We would throw events. So we started with Boo Bash, then we had Boo Bash, V-Day Bash, Summer Jam. What are you thankful for? We take donations for during Thanksgiving. We always on our social media platform acknowledge. I was about to say Hanukkah.
Kwanzaa. I know y'all doing stuff for Kwanzaa.
We always acknowledge Kwanzaa. And our biggest fundraiser event is Juneteenth Jubilee. So I did the Juneteenth Jubilee in 2020 following the pandemic, and that's our biggest one yet. We crowned Mr. and Miss Juneteenth. I started the pageant, Mr. and Miss Juneteenth Scholarship pageant, and we crowned the second because 2021 was the first time we crowned. We did in 2020. I founded the Juneteenth Jubilee. And then in 2021, we crowned our first Mr. and Miss Juneteenth. And our first Miss Juneteenth actually rode in the Rochester Fest Parade, the first car. In front, she led and ended, and she waved the first little black girl, first little in the Rochester Parade. I cried.
Yeah. Okay, I know you did, because I was like, oh.
I cried, Miss Juneteenth.
We getting there.
The first Miss Juneteenth, in the Rochester Fest Parade, she led it in a Corvette. So
wow.
And so she was crowned 2021, and then 2022 we crowned Miss this past June. We just crowned Mr. and Miss Juneteenth 2022. And I just spoke with Jub this morning. He's doing really, really good. They're college, doing their thing, doing good. They got $1,000 scholarship for college. And that's all came out of my bank account.
Right. Because you hustle, honey, baby. I saw you. You was hustling for Juneteenth when I was helping you. Was like, I need somebody to do this. I said, girl, what you need? What you need? I'll go, because you is going crazy.
I don't know what it was I needed from the store. Should I say, girl, what you need? I'm finna go get it. And you back already? She like,
I went from north to south, back over. Hey, you needed it, girl. I know how it is.
What's the downside? What's the downside to what you do, as far as like when a staff member might not agree with what you're doing, or vice versa?
So I stretch the importance of Journey is a vision that God put on my heart for me to do. That's my mission. You know, that's my assignment. My assignment was to create it. My assignment is not to govern over it. You know what I'm saying? I'm a leader. I lead. You know, I don't give orders. You know, I build a foundation for other people to be able to expand what they're doing, because I know how hard it was for me to get other people to open doors for me in this business. So I want to take my platform and be able to, I handpicked all of my volunteers and the people that work with me on purpose off of what they're doing and where their heart is. You know? So a lot of them, I encourage their input. I value their opinion, and I want Journey to be a platform for them to be able to build their aspirations on top of as well.
Yes. So what other barriers is it to get funding from for grants, or even go to a bank and say, okay, I need this type of loan? What are the barriers they're saying that you're not meeting to get to that point, or is it just shut down at the beginning? You know what I mean? Like, it's many times I had to fund myself to open my own business, right? Before pandemic. I mean, we had to grind. I had to fund myself to open my own. We didn't have before pandemic. The bank, we got denied. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
I'm sorry, you echoing, honey.
Is something on?
I don't know why.
Okay. So yeah, it's pretty hard to go to a bank, you know, and get funded for myself. So I had to get it bootleg borrow, ask friends, donate, all this type of stuff. So I know the feeling of that. Not until the pandemic, if we were established right, you know, all our entities and our organizational setup was proper in our business, that we can get money from the government, because they were giving it away anyway. They had to give it to us. It was forced to give to us. You know what I'm saying? No matter what, you know.
Because it was like, give it away. You know. What I would say is, I'm gonna just say this first. There has been a lot of people like here and there, you know, that has donated financially, whether it's $50, $25, $250. You know, here, Nqshauna, I like what you're doing. Let me help you. And it's those small little donations that go a
Yeah.
long way,
Yeah.
because when you got 15, you know, kids twice a week for 2 hours, you got to feed them. You picking them up, dropping them off. You got volunteers that's using their own cars to help drop kids off, pick kids up. You got a rental fees for the facility that you gonna be doing, you know, workshop, and you got to pay per hour the fee for those.
Right.
Our t-shirts, whatever expenses, if we're going somewhere and doing stuff with the kids, all that stuff got to get paid for. So like I said, over the years, we've raised our own money. We have I know you've seen me in the past, you know, people think I'm this angry Black woman, you know how they label us on.
Right.
But I've been off a few times, you know, recently too, you know, because I'm little, they call me Little Max, you know. My birthday followed Martin Luther King birthday this year, you know.
Right.
But it's in me, you know. And when it comes to injustice and people not being fair, if I'm not gonna take you being unfair to a kid, what make you think I'm gonna take you being unfair to me, you know? And I'm a different person than I was 10 years ago. I know how to handle you in the business realm, in most business, in a professional way, you know.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, regardless of if you do it respectfully, if you do it professionally, you're not supposed to do it at all. Well, I'm gonna do it anyway because I be looking for good trouble to get it too. You don't know
Right.
me,
Good trouble.
you know. So I want to say this, you know, we applied for grants for so many years and kept getting denied, kept getting denied. And then I saw a particular organization get a grant, something that was like not even beneficial to the community. And I was like, okay, it's official now. We Black. You know, I try not to use the Black card because they be like, you know, everything's got to be about race and da 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 da. So I try my best not to make it about race and get my facts together and get everything before I say, that was racist.
Mm-hmm.
You treat me like this because I'm Black, you know. So I had already got all the facts and all of that before I was able to say, hey, it's because I'm Black and because I'm a Black woman that you keep denying me. Like, I just spent $400 paying somebody to write this grant for me, so I know it's not my verbiage.
Right.
Right.
So why you keep denying me for grants?
Mm-hmm.
And so meeting that I went into, I addressed it and addressed it and addressed it and addressed it. And then we've got this new word, BIPOC, you know, and I say it all the time. If you are a part of the BIPOC community, then, you know, everything is for BIPOC, but Black, Indigenous people of color, but then they Xing out the B.
Right.
Y'all Xing out the B. Y'all being slick.
Mm-hmm.
If you are anything, if you are diverse, from any diverse community that's not Black, they'll fund you because you ain't Black. They just need a diverse. Because of that word BIPOC, they ain't got to help you.
No.
And they got to be called racist because they gave to a BIPOC organization, but just not a Black one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and if you are not associated with particular people,
A clique,
who have, it's very cliquey in Rochester, very cliquey. But what I will say is this: I have a lot of friends in the business world that's rooting for my organization, and they see it.
yes.
And let's just say it's being addressed. We're not gonna stop fighting. The one thing that we're gonna continue to do is, a lot of people say, "Oh, you're not supposed to speak about that. Have grace, be professional." Is that what I'm supposed to teach the kids in my program? Because if that is, then that's not it. That's not what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
The truth. We teach them reality.
Reality, yeah.
You know, and we're also teaching them how to be professional, how to be respectful, how to address your concerns. But we're not going to teach them how to be no punk and get walked on like a doormat.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, I come from Chicago, where I was taught growth and development. Between growth and development and God being the center of everything that I do.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm always stand on.
Yeah.
So
I just love your program. And you got to tell the viewers, you won you went to the 50th Jefferson anniversary, 50th year Jefferson Award. You got a Jefferson Award. That's a big thing, girl.
I did.
All the way in Little Rochester, you went to New York and got that award when they quit playing.
You know,
I was just gonna say, what is the Jefferson Award? Because
Say it to a girl. I didn't know what it was until she was up in there, standing up there in the front of 500,000 people.
You know what, Sade? I didn't even know what it was either. Like, so I got to Indianapolis because the guy, and I'll try to tell y'all the story quick. I was nominated by one of my staff for the job, and they KTTC, like the news people came, they interviewed us and everything. Congratulations. I'm like, thank you. And I'm gonna get back to work. I need to make some more money. We got stuff to do, right? So I wasn't focused. And so it was around Juneteenth last year. Now y'all know it was big. We had Casp out here, Casp down, did the cha-cha slab with everybody. Like I had a big celebration that I was planning. And so I got an email saying, you need to book your flight and your free hotel. You got a trip to Indianapolis and all expenses paid. Delete. Ain't nobody paying for me. You know, this is a scam. I deleted it. And so, and then the guy name is Brady. His name was Brady. I'm like, Brady? I don't know no Brady, you know. Right. So I deleted it and I get it. I'm like, this Brady person just keep on sitting up and I block them, right? And so I was looking for a particular email and then I saw it and I opened it and I read it and then I was about to delete it, but then at the bottom it said, well, he started the email this time off with, as a recipient of the National Jefferson, as the Jefferson Award candidate. I was like, oh, that's what this is. And then I read, contact him because I had missed the deadline. He's like, you finally reached back out to me.
Oh, wow.
And it was 2 days. I would have had to fly out to Indianapolis 2 days after Juneteenth last year. So I flew out. Actually, no. That was this year. I flew out 2 days after and went to Indianapolis. And that was last year. I went out and I had to do a speech. Now, all I knew was I was tired. I went through a lot putting together this past Juneteenth Jubilee. It was very stressful. One of my most challenging years. One of my most challenging fundraisers. Let's just say the devil was busy. He was coming for me, but we did that thing, and it was nice. God was in every aspect, in every corner. He was showing up. And so we had a good time. But nonetheless, I was tired. I was drained. And I had booked my flight and everything, and I wasn't even fully aware of what was going on. I just know I had got nominated for an award, and they said that it was a free vacation, so I was going, right? I had to just verify I wasn't, about to get abducted and make sure everything, looked up the company. I'm like, everything good, okay, I'm going. Shocked me, it was nice. Got there, and they gave me a whole itinerary, said, you're going to have to create a 3-minute speech.
Wow.
I was so stressed out from from Juneteenth. I slept the whole day, didn't open it. The lady gave me I took that thing and put it down. I didn't even open the envelope. I didn't know what itinerary said, y'all. I'm not playing. I went to that hotel room. I went to sleep. And then I got up and went down there. I didn't know what was going on. They was talking to me and they said, are you coming to the breakfast to do your speech tomorrow? I said, oh, a speech? They're like, yes, in your itinerary packet. And then I looked.
Oh, wow.
And then I looked in there. Yep, I got a speech. Okay. Talk about my program. Oh, that's easy. I ain't got to go on. I know what that's about.
Right.
And so I didn't prepare anything. I started acting like a tourist because I had never been to Indianapolis. So I was just wandering the streets. And I found a little bar and met a bunch of different, what's the word for different people. It's some very different characters in Indianapolis, and it was so cool. Of my life, I stayed out till like 2:00 in the morning.
Oh Lord, you had to have a speech that morning.
To have a speech that morning. So I woke up late and I got down there, and as soon as I walked in, I heard my name being called, and I
Oh,
walked on to the stage.
yeah.
Oh wow.
Got over there. It was a group of kids that went up before me, and they spoke so fluently.
Right.
And then it was some more people, and I said, "Dang, they really prepared these speeches. That's it."
Right.
Oh.
Right. And so as they up there, you could probably see me on camera. There's probably a few videos of me asking the girl next to me. I say, "You got a piece of paper? You got a piece of paper?" So I'm trying to write some stuff down, wrote some, trying to sound all intelligent. This is no flex about being unprepared. If there's any youth watching this, it's good to be prepared. And then I'm sharing my story with you guys so you know why to be prepared. Don't be like me. So it was her, and I got my paper, and I goes up there. I'm thinking that it was introduction because that's what it said. Introductions. And so I went up there, and I looked at my paper, and I looked at everybody, and I looked down at my paper again, and I said, well, I can't say this. And I just spoke from my heart.
That's the best way.
Myself.
That's the best speech.
And all I remember is when I got through, everybody stood up and was clapping. And I was like, I need to go get me some more salute because it sounds like these people are really clapping hard, right?
Mhm.
Walking to try to find me a seat because I ain't never get no seat before going up there. And so, long story short, the next day, I went upstairs. I opened that packet and I had to read. I said, what is this? And where am I at? And what is these people got going on here? And I was like, whoa, look at this is what this is. And I didn't have a clue. I'm literally here at the court, Jacqueline Kennedy, President Kennedy's wife, this organization. And then I was engulfed that whole evening. And then it was a dinner that night. And I went to the dinner, and they said, thanks everybody for coming, but we got a surprise for y'all. And then earlier today, when you guys did your speeches, competing to go to the New York City's National Jefferson Award. Now, y'all, the food was so good. I was listening, but I wasn't listening. I was eating.
Right.
And so I'm eating my food, and I'm looking like ain't nobody can give me no award. I'm just I'm just happy to be here. I'm away from my kids. I'm away from Rochester. I done went through all the stressful stuff. My name got called. And when they called my name, y'all, I was too done.
I know you was happy. Oh, wow.
I didn't even know what to be happy about. I just was happy. The New York City sound like another free trip.
Right.
And then when I got in between that, I found out what Multiplying Good was. And Multiplying Good started off the Jefferson Awards. And the Award was started 50 years ago, founded by Samuel Bird, Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis. And it was to celebrate what they call unsung heroes. These people who are doing things that are giving back to the community but are not receiving the recognition that they deserve. So they literally go out and find people who are making a difference, people who are just impactful within their communities and have come up with these different ideas that's making humanity a better place. So Jacqueline Kennedy, this was her vision. She was growing up because she had a really great upbringing, but she also had some challenges. And she believed in, the community being a better place. And she believed that it was going to take all of us, to do good within the community. If I do good, that'll help you and it will multiply. And that's what she wanted to find those people who had missions, that the mission, whatever you're doing, it could multiply and it could help another person and that person could help another person. And so throughout my hardships and every door that closed on me in Rochester and every grant that didn't get approved, now I'm locked in.
That's right.
Yes.
So it's like you got to trust God. You got to have faith in what you're doing. You got to come from the heart. You know,
and it takes time, huh?
It's a lot of people who are in this nonprofit business for the money, or they feel, oh, I want to do something. Some people, everybody, if you got a mission, more than likely it's somebody out here that's already doing what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Doing something that nobody else is doing, then you create something. But if it's something somebody else doing, go help them do what they doing that they already started, because more than likely use your help. You know, you wonder why you having such a hard time. It's somebody else who done already passed those barriers that you got to go through now. You know, then you could band together, because I just recruited a young lady today to be a part of the Journey program. She'll be on our platform next week, and we both went through foster care together.
Oh.
Sharing her story that a lot of young people can relate to, and pertaining to identifying unhealthy relationships and through molestation. You know, she went through a lot, and so she's going to be her story. And she's 2023. The word is called expansion. That's our word for next year. Expansion. 2023 is about expansion. And so we're looking to expand. It's time to go home. 2020. Time to help the youth back in Chicago in 2023. So what we're doing here, when they won't open, they don't recognize you locally, then God made it to where they recognized us nationally.
Right.
You know? So we might not have got a grant, but we got a gold medal, and it's got Jacqueline Kennedy on that's his signature on the back, and Sam Bird. So we plugged in. We got the bird on our chest, literally.
Yes.
So it's like, you got to keep going. And I don't have no hatred in my heart, no ill will towards anybody who's making grant process decisions, because that's the problem with the system. Y'all going by policies and procedure. Everything is policy, this.
Or
systematic. I'm okay with order. I have no problem with order. But the problem is that all these people who have these degrees and educational experience, but they don't have no personal life experience, but they are trying to lead other people who have particular problems and issues that they cannot relate to. You cannot help somebody that you cannot relate to. All of your experience come from a textbook.
Right.
Yep.
That ain't gonna work.
No, that's the J stuff, though.
Yeah. And it's gonna take some time. So our organization has never been based off. We're expanding happily to Minneapolis. Soon we'll be providing our workshop to some of the youth in foster care in Hennepin County.
Okay.
Nice.
Which I'm excited about. We have a workshop coming up where we're going to be talking about biracial identity and the stigma, and giving our biracial brothers and sisters and youth here in Rochester an opportunity to express themselves and come together in a healing circle to discuss what those hardships are and the lack of inclusion when it comes to them in the Black community as well as the white community. And they are seeking to find a space for them. So we're going to help them create that voice through, and that's an initiative that's being led through one of the employees, volunteers through our organization, who's a part of that biracial community. That's if that she's going to be leading, that we're just supporting. So yeah, we got a lot of stuff coming in the works. We're doing a toy drive for a kid. We did a live with King Fights Cancer Foundation yesterday on our IG. And King, he is a 10-year-old cancer treatment patient who went through treatment, and he donates kits and toys to other kids and people who have cancer in hospitals in New York City and Queens. He takes donations. He's worked with people like Busta Rhymes and DJ Khaled, Fat Joe.
Nice.
And so he was on our platform yesterday, and one of the people he was recently in contact with who passed away, his name is Chris. So for Christmas, Journie is going to be collecting donations. It's like notepads. It's a list of things that we're collecting, and we're going to ship it to New York City to help King fulfill this mission he has, because he's honoring Chris. So he's doing some special kits for Christmas this year in honor of Chris, who passed away. And the bag filled with some of Chris's favorite things like toy cars, Hot Wheels.
How old was Chris?
Chris was 31 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, Chris was 31, and King was able to communicate with Chris about some of these things prior to Chris passing away. On behalf of his foundation, Journie wants to do not a fundraiser, but like a toy drive where people can drop off and donate some stuff to 125 Live. So we'll have a list of stuff that will go out later this week where people go out and purchase Hot Wheels or face masks or notepads and pens and drop it off for us, and we'll send some of that stuff to help him.
Okay. And how can people, our viewers, help your organization?
So right now, we do have a GoFundMe for our workshop that starts in January.
Okay.
We have a GoFundMe. We're trying to reach, I think the goal is $5,000 to help pay for our team and our materials and things like that for our workshop. So you guys can share, donate, just spread the word about our organization, about our program.
Yes.
And can you say all of your social media handles for people to contact you?
Sure. So we can be reached on Instagram at I am Journie. So I am JOURNIE.
Okay.
Our Instagram and our Facebook, you can find us under Journie, just JOURNIE.
Thank you. Yes.
Well, we appreciate you giving us a lot of gems today, telling us your story. We're gonna have you back.
I know, because we have more guests with Nina. She's an author too, so
okay. Yeah. See, there's a lot
Nina's
to talk
author
about
as well. So yeah, that's a whole nother
yeah
story.
My book on Amazon. If you type in or Google my name, Nqshauna Johnson Lenore, the name of my book is called 8 Steps to Promotion.
Okay.
8 Steps to Promotion. I wrote that book while I was in a Zumbo Valley mental health when I thought I was about to die. So those was the words. True authentic self.
Yes. Well, that'll be another talk for mental health program or talk show. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, thank you,
But thank you guys for having me on.
Yes.
Thank
you for coming.
Platform.
Yes.
Black queens doing y'all. I appreciate y'all.
Thank you. We appreciate you too. Good night, guys. Thanks for tuning in.